Welcome to our worldwide news channel. For today, we have some exclusive news. The topic is Russia's dire warning, dangerous consequences for the US in the Ukraine crisis. In a chilling development, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov issues a stark ultimatum to the United States as the Ukrainian war escalates, edging closer to a catastrophic outcome that could plunge the world into unprecedented danger. Tonight, Worldwide News brings you an alarming report straight from Moscow, one that sends a shiver down the spine of geopolitics. Russia's top diplomat, Sergei Lavrov, who has served under President Vladimir Putin for 2 decades, has warned of dangerous consequences for the United States if it continues its military support for Ukraine. The warning, laden with menace, hints at a potential clash of superpowers that could spiral out of control, threatening the stability of the globe. 2.5 years of bloodshed, a ticking time bomb. It has been more than 2.5 years since Putin initiated what he chillingly referred to as his special military operation in Ukraine, a euphemism for a full-scale invasion that has since become Europe's deadliest conflict since World War II. Tens of thousands have died. Cities have been reduced to rubble, and the possibility of this war escalating beyond the Ukrainian border has never seemed more imminent. Speaking in an exclusive interview with Newsweek, Lavrov laid out Russia's grim vision for the future. He described a blueprint for peace that requires Kyiv to make gut-wrenching concessions. Ukraine, according to Russia's plan, must surrender control of 4 key regions: Donetsk, Kherson, Luhansk, and Zaporizhia, all territories that Russia controversially annexed in a series of disputed referendums. Crimea, which Russia seized in 2014, must also remain firmly in Moscow's grasp. These demands, if met, would see Ukraine forever altered, its borders redrawn by force, leaving a scar across the heart of Eastern Europe. A grim warning, playing with fire. But there's more. A shadow of nuclear terror hangs over these negotiations. Lavrov, without mincing words, accused the United States and NATO of dragging out the war by continuously supplying Ukraine with advanced weaponry, including long-range missiles. He claimed these weapons could be used to strike deep within Russian territory, raising the stakes to an all-time high. His words echoed ominously. Playing with fire this way may lead to dangerous consequences. In the backdrop of this, Moscow's most chilling card remains its vast nuclear arsenal, the largest on Earth. Lavrov's warning was clear. A direct clash with NATO could push Russia to take adequate decisions based on the West's actions, a thinly veiled threat that raises the specter of nuclear war. With tensions running higher than ever before, it seems that the world stands on the edge of a terrifying abyss. Escalation without end, the stakes for Ukraine. For Kyiv, the price of war has been nothing short of devastating. The country's resolve, however, remains unbroken. President Volodymyr Zelensky has repeatedly vowed that Ukraine will not surrender any of its territory to Moscow, a stance backed fiercely by Western powers, particularly the United States. But Lavrov's remarks indicate that Moscow believes it has the upper hand and is willing to bleed Ukraine dry, warning that the country's foreign backers, especially Washington, are gambling with catastrophic stakes. While the US and its allies continue to pour billions into Ukrainian defense, the war appears far from resolution. Lavrov stressed that Russia would continue its military operation until the threats posed by Ukraine are removed. The implications are staggering: a drawn-out, grinding conflict that threatens to engulf not just Ukraine, but the world. A changing world order, Russia's multipolar moment. Beyond the battlefield, Lavrov hinted at a broader, more strategic vision, one where Russia's influence spreads across the globe in a world increasingly divided between East and West. As Washington focuses on supporting Kyiv, Moscow is solidifying a new alliance with China, as well as nations in Africa and Latin America. This multipolar moment, as Lavrov described it, is one where the global order shifts, with Russia seeking to dismantle what it views as Western dominance and build new centers of power. Lavrov ominously declared that the world is now witnessing an irreversible shift. The West waited longer than the others, he warned, but it has started to realize that this process cannot be stopped. This vision of a fractured world, driven by competing power centers, paints a picture of an international system on the verge of collapse. The US election, a turning point. As the war rages on, Lavrov cast a shadow over the upcoming US presidential election, set to take place on November 5th. The outcome of this election, he suggested, will have little impact on Russia's stance, whether Kamala Harris or Donald Trump takes the Oval Office. To Lavrov, the US remains committed to opposing Russia, regardless of who is in power. But he left no doubt about Moscow's disdain for what he sees as American interference in global affairs, accusing US leaders of looking for adventures thousands of miles away from American coasts. His message to Washington was chillingly blunt: focus on domestic problems or face the consequences abroad. Countdown to catastrophe? As the Ukrainian war drags into its third year, the situation grows ever more volatile. Lavrov's chilling words serve as a stark reminder that this conflict could still escalate into a nightmare scenario of global proportions. Nuclear powers are facing off in a high-stakes game where the rules are constantly shifting, and one wrong move could unleash chaos. Tonight, as nations watch with bated breath, the question remains, how far will this conflict go? And when the dust settles, will there be anything left to salvage? Stay tuned as Worldwide News Channel continues to bring you the latest developments in this global crisis. The clock is ticking, and the consequences of this war could be more dangerous than anyone can imagine. This was our exclusive New Tonight about the situation in Russia and Ukraine. If you haven't subscribed yet, smash the subscribe button to help the algorithm to stay tuned and updated, and to help us to grow together. Thank you for watching.